Turn me up. This is
coming to you from the heart of the Pacific, brought to you by Paulie by Design.
respected at all times.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, California, the city by the bay.
It's about to go down.
We shine on positive Pacific Islander role models every Sunday.
Party on a Sunday.
From 10 a.m. to noon, it's time for the iconic Faika Broadcast with your hosts,
Listening to
Naki and Carl.
What's up, Naki?
Hello.
It's like old times. We're going to explain that here in a second. It's August 28th, season 6, episode 26 of the Faika Podcast. And we have our third guest, our third host. He's not a guest host. This is our host from back in the day. He's been with us since, and actually he's back in South Market and in the Tenderloin area. Neil Veavea joins us today.
Oh my
He
God.
is our host. He's not on a corner. We get him on the edge. Normally we say Neil's on the corner.
They always sticking me on the corner.
On the corner.
What's with
On
being
the
on the corner? Even at
corner.
work.
You on the corner.
They go, you get that corner.
You get that corner.
It's
Welcome,
good to,
brother.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. I missed y'all so
I know.
much. I mean, in
missed you.
person.
I know.
Got my hug in this morning. I feel
Yes.
really good. I
Yes.
feel very positive. I got my hugs.
This is
Yeah.
the third studio. Neil's been one of our hosts. He was with us down between, I think, 6th and 7th,
Yeah.
7th Street, in
yeah.
between Market and Mission.
Mhm.
He was with us in South San
South
Francisco, and now
City.
he's with us out in the burbs. Right?
Wow. You know, it's like coming to a whole new world
A
out
full
here.
circle. Full circle.
And I
Full
was
circle.
craving jelly donuts. I saw that donut shop across the
I
street.
know. We try not to ask.
Really?
We try not to.
Close our eyes, but
he doesn't eat anymore. So
Yeah, Carl.
I
What's
so
up
know.
with that?
we're going to talk about fasting. We're going to talk about Neo's the work, the community work
Yeah.
that he's doing.
it
And we're going to we're going to do our check-ins, and we may get a little Manti Te'o, House of Dragons, depending on how far we go with our conversations. But that's our show today. Naki, what's up?
Yeah. So if you're new to the world and have been hiding under a rock, Neo is one of the founders of Utopia San Francisco, United Territories of Pacific Islander Alliance,
Huh?
the first PI LGBTQCA. I don't know all the letters.
WXYZ.
Right. Social support group in
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Yes, yes.
And then founder of Visitation Valley Ukulele Club.
Oh, yeah.
Creator of Hot Siva, which is hot,
Very hot.
very hot.
Yeah.
And we love Hot Siva.
Do you?
Yes. You had a cooking show. You were
Wow.
on La Mission. Is it La Mission?
La Mission, yeah.
Which is a movie that's out with Benjamin Bratt.
Which was years ago.
Go check
yeah.
out Netflix and see Neo do his thing.
Mm.
Just tons and tons and tons of stuff.
Wow. Y'all
that
still
Neil-
got that on there?
I know. It just, there you go. And so, yeah. So Neil is everything and just a big advocate for not only the LGBTQ community, but for the whole San Francisco. And we'll talk
Yeah.
about like the work that you're doing now.
Thank you.
I
I
know.
appreciate
So-
that.
What you been up to?
So are we doing a check-in?
Yes,
To
let's
check
do a
in?
check-in.
Well, yesterday I did an event for Visitation Valley. It was called the Peace and Unity event.
Mm.
And I don't know if you guys were aware several years ago where there was a confrontation or between the African American community and the Asian community. And
Mm.
so
Yeah.
this unity event came out of that, trying to bring both of those communities together. And
I love it.
and it's been working really well. As a matter of fact, I work as a community ambassador now. So 10 years ago,
Yay.
Ed Lee, because of the problems that were going on in the Bayview between the Asian and African American community, they created the community ambassador group out of Bayview. And it's now been around about 10, 11 years.
Mhm.
And now we're all over in the TL, the Civic Center, the Sunset. So we'll talk about that a little more as far as what we do for the city and how the work continues. So I don't do a lot of poly work. I do a lot of community work.
Community work.
Human work.
In the
with all-
communities that you still see Pacific Islanders and Polynesians in the work that you do in the community, but it's more work for the community
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah, and this is sad because so when I first applied to work for the community ambassador group, I wanted to work in D10 because that's where I'm
That's
from.
where you live. Yeah,
Visitation Valley. And so I thought, yeah, I'm a shoe-in, lived there, 55, 60 years. I'm going to be a shoe-in. So as we were going through our training, they started to assign people their areas that they were going to be in. And they, of course, came to me last. And I was looking at my instructor like, he better say Visitation Valley, Bayview. And he says, Neil, your assignment's going to be the Civic Center and the TL, the Tenderloin. And I looked at him like, what? I mean, I was really upset. But the universe, God will put you in places where you
you're
need
supposed
to be.
Right.
So he knew I was upset. But after, everything was done, I went up to him and I go, listen, I apologize for my reaction. I really wanted. He goes, yeah, I know, but I think you'll do well. And I go, you know what? You're probably right.
Right.
So I am in that area and I love it. I mean, my first 2 weeks, it was very emotional because I cannot believe that we allow human beings to live like that. Sleeping on the cement, eating food off the cement, and mental illness is really big down there. And I don't like the comment that some people make. Well, they choose to be like that. You don't choose to be like that. There's
Right.
economical reasons. There's
Mental
mental
health.
health. There's just a lot of layers of things that need to be peeled back. And then I started seeing our people down there. If anything, I was trying to think, do we have a word for homelessness in Samoan? And I don't really think so. So I just started to identify some of the Pacific Islanders that were down there. And it was very emotional. I mean, for the first 2 weeks, I cried a lot because I could not believe that.
Well, I can't believe that there's PIs that are homeless.
Yeah. And so
I think that eye-opening. I think that if you're not in the South of Market area or you're not in the Tenderloin, then maybe it's more out of sight, out of mind. Because I've heard that, right? I've heard a lot of Pacific Islanders and specific Samoans say, well, that couldn't happen. I wouldn't see that happening to one of us because you got family, you got friends.
Right.
So it's kind of an eye-opening experience.
Like we take care of our own,
right?
Basically,
right.
But that's not the case. Some of them don't want to be around family, because of their addictions. And it's really kind of difficult. So you just kind of talk to them. And what I want to do is, now that I've identified quite a few of them and they've given me their phone number, their cell numbers and stuff, we're just going to come together and meet on a Sunday and, Falofangi. And, they're talking about, can we have, like, kalo and pisupo, things from home, Samoan food. And, and I go, yeah, and we won't, nobody will be talked down to as far as your addiction, your mental state of mind, but we'll just come together because I think what's important is that they identify each other while they're down there.
Yeah.
Not try to hide from each other because they've got an addiction or mental health issues, right? So just come together, Fealufangi, get to know each other, and then maybe, so now that we have some professional clinicians who are trained in that area,
will they help?
Well,
yes, of
that's
course
the
they
thing.
will.
So in a couple of months, after we do a couple of meet and greets, and
maybe
we can call them and say, hey, can
go
you do
further?
an hour? Yeah, just in case one of them wants to try to talk about their addiction or why they're down there and why they're away from their families. And here's the thing, I've met some of them that I knew from way back in the day,
right,
that I didn't recognize, and you just cry. We both, one incident, there's an individual who's in a wheelchair, and, I went up to introduce myself, not knowing that this is a person I used to party with 20, 30 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
And they said, hey, it's me, so-and-so. And I was like, oh my God. So we just kind of held each other. And I was like, what happened?
And they probably miss family too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to go back, right? Especially after living that life. And let me tell you, it was an eye-opener. We were talking earlier about where we used to do the podcast on
Right.
7th
7th and Market.
7th
and
and Market.
Mission, yeah.
How it was just needles
Needles
everywhere. I
everywhere.
remember you would walk like
Every
with your
morning
head
I
looking
would
down.
count. I would
Right.
count the needles. Yeah.
And now, because of this program, and it takes a collaborative effort, not
Mhm.
just the community ambassadors with San Francisco, but also the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. There are other organizations. That area is all cleaned up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know, I'm
That's a
so
good thing,
It
right?
is a good thing, you know. And Market Street, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, you can't go down Market. It looks so." It is
It's getting
absolutely, it's
clean.
cleaned up, but all the businesses are empty.
Yeah. Well,
So
everyone has left the city because of the pandemic.
exactly,
Yeah.
and the number one thing, the number one and number two thing I get whenever I do, they're called wellness checks with a lot of the homeless and a lot of
Mhm.
people with mental illness issues, is they need shelter. They want housing. We have a lot of empty spaces downtown, and of course, they're never going to get into one of those
Mm-mm.
spaces. But we need to wake up and try to house some of these people and get them off the street, not move them from section to section. I mean,
I
they're
think that's what they do, though, is move them from section to section. Like before, I guess, and I can tell that Berkeley, like when I used to drive on 80 on the side of the freeway to the
Right.
right, when I'm headed into the city, nothing there. But then I knew exactly when Berkeley was starting to clean up their streets, because then on the side of the freeway, you can see
All of
all
them.
the homeless camps and tents sitting, and it just got bigger and bigger
Right.
and bigger. And so, like, when the cities clean up the streets, they're just really just pushing the homeless to another city.
area.
Right.
And here's the thing. The city knows that people bus people in or
Mhm.
pay for airline tickets to get the homeless into San Francisco. You kind of hear that, right?
Mhm.
You will never go hungry in San Francisco.
True.
Let me tell
There's
you,
a lot of resources.
lot of resources at the food banks. There's Glide Memorial.
Right.
There's
Glide
St.
Memorial.
Anthony's.
Right.
There's even an agency that walks around with water and, you know, sandwiches and stuff, and
Yeah.
they feed the homeless. So
Yeah,
food is not an
food is
issue.
not the issue. It's getting the mental health is the
Exactly.
issue.
I mean, I've been threatened, and here's the thing: you hear about these things, right? But you never really think, oh, what are they going to do to you? But when it happens, I've been threatened by homeless people that they're going to kill me.
Yeah.
You know, just because I say, "Hey, are you okay? Are there any resources that I can, you know,
Right.
try to provide?" You know, and it's like, "F you and get away from me. I'll kill you." And, you know, and I'm like,
Okay.
my hood self would
Right.
want to say like, but I would have to take off my uniform. But, you
Yeah.
know, but
That's
you
a whole
just
different story.
that's a whole different story. But you just kind of say, okay, well, you know, if you need anything, you know, we're around.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'll carry like granola bars and stuff, and I'll give them out. And
Yeah.
it's not something that we're, you know, that we're supposed to do or that the city requires us to do, but we can do that. I take dog treats out for the dogs. 'Cause
Yeah.
there are a lot of dogs out there with their homeless, you know, masters
Yeah.
or you know,
Owners. Yeah.
and they're so protective of their owners, like pit bulls, right? And I'll go up and I'll try to, you know, be nice, and they're the most friendly. I got bit by a chihuahua.
Oh my goodness.
I think
was
most
like,
of the homeless
wring its
people
neck.
are their dogs are better behaved. As a whole,
Yeah.
you usually, because they spend more time with the dog,
Yeah.
they're going different places with the dog. You actually see better behaved
Mhm.
dogs with
It's amazing.
homeless people.
They walk around in strollers, and they have their dogs all wrapped up in blankets,
Mhm.
and you know, I mean, they really do take
It's
it.
their
But the
babies.
dogs really look after their owners as well. And there are agencies downtown that the first of the month in Civic Center, you can get free dog food.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so a lot of people will go and
I
take
may
their
go
animals
there.
and get the free dog food, you know,
Yeah.
and so the issue isn't are they eating? There's a
Mhm.
lot of mental health issues that are out there.
Oh, definitely.
But my
So-
biggest concern is our people.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
to
surprising.
see that.
Well, you know, like if it's drug addiction, like there's only so much a family can do, right?
Right.
Before they get, I'm done, I'm tired. And then unfortunately, they just let that family member either go
Well,
somewhere.
I think
or-
that most people aren't equipped to deal with a family member that has
Mhm.
health,
Yeah.
mental health issues.
Mental
Yep,
health
yep.
issues.
So at some point, it gets to the point where they're like, I just don't know. I've done everything that I can. They just
Right.
don't have the tools
Right.
to deal with it, and for just almost self-sustaining, and like, I've got to live my life, I've got to be able to go to work every day and pay my
Mhm.
bills.
Right.
It gets easier to say, look, you got to go find somebody, but I can't, I can't help you. And I think that when you think about, like, just not mental health but physical health, right? If you've got a family member that needs, I don't know, needs heart surgery, right? You don't have heart
Right.
surgery at home.
No,
You don't have the
exactly.
tools to
You have
deal
to
with
take
that.
them. Right.
You got to get them to a professional for that. It's the same way with mental health. Is it's like heart surgery, but who knows how to do heart surgery at home? Most people need that. And I think, so what you, if I'm hearing you right, there are a lot of resources in the area that you're working in, but it doesn't seem to be, it only seems to be holding the line. It's not fixing anything. What do you think needs to be done that to turn the tide, so to speak, to actually make ground and not just hold our head above water?
Well, I think culturally, right? Especially for Samoans, who are down there now. I know that we now have professionals who can culturally
Clinicians, yeah.
navigate that conversation, because you can't have an Asian person really kind of relate to a Samoan person
Mhm.
when it comes to things like that. So I'm hoping that we can start. There's a few of us down there who have that passion for our PI people to come together in Fealufangi, and then after a while bring in our professionals to see if they want to take on this really big issue of drugs and mental health.
Right.
And we have that now in place. And I know a lot of agencies have worked really hard, like SEDC and
Right.
RAMS,
Right.
to get those PIs in place.
Mhm.
And now that they are, I'm going to depend on them to help me help our people in the TL
Right.
and in the Civic Center area, because like you were talking about the encampments that are now on the freeway,
Right.
I bet you there's a PI family in there.
Probably.
And
Probably.
this is unacceptable to the point that we were all raised as to Fealufangi, to know each other. Even if you see
Mhm.
another Polynesian, that you extend your welcome to them.
Right.
We cannot allow these people to live the way they're living. I'm
Right.
sure they're comfortable. I mean, but
It's unacceptable.
let's try to
Well,
be a little bit more
it's
compassionate with
unacceptable
them.
to us
Right.
because we live differently, but to them that's like normal life for them, right?
So I'm going to put a call out to some people. What I've done was I take candy bars or something just to snack on for them. I really would like small little hand sanitizers. The things that
I've
they
got
ask
you.
for is water, and I can't
Mhm.
carry
Yeah.
36 bags of water. We're only allowed to, our paper resources and stuff like that. But a lot of the homeless people ask for water or hand sanitizers and masks. And thank God our agency gives
Can you
masks.
drag a cart with you?
Not really. We
Uh,
have a pack because we also have to enter in a lot of data. And a lot of times people see the ambassadors standing there on their phones thinking we're just on our phones on
yeah.
social media looking for a date or something. But we're actually entering in the numbers of interactions that we have, the needs that we're giving out, and that way the city can compile all that and see what the demographics are. And even
Right.
Pacific Islanders are on that demographic.
Yeah. I mean, it's data is
Is
data is
everything,
king, right?
right?
Data
So
is king.
even in languages, they have Samoan on there. So somebody in the city must know that we're out there and we
Yeah.
probably need the services.
Well, and numbers, like Nike saying, data is so important because, like it or not, sometimes it comes down to funding, right?
And
And
that
unless you're
too.
able to show the numbers, you're able to
Right.
show the interactions and the people that you're servicing and helping, you're not going to get, supportive funding following it. But on the note of the Pacific Islanders, I think that it's really important to have a Pacific Islander down there doing it, because they're not going to self-report. Like, we have a hard enough time getting Pacific Islanders that are kind of in the mainstream, just registering to vote, doing
Right,
the
exactly.
census and those kind of things. They're
Yeah.
certainly not going to come forward and raise their hand in situations that you're experiencing.
And it's funny because I talked to a couple of people, and the first thing they say is, "So what's your last name?" They know the drill,
Right.
right?
What's your last name?
Right.
Where's your family
So they
from?
can try to connect
Right.
it. And I try not to get that information from them because I don't want them to feel like,
A wall go up.
or not even
Yeah.
that, oh, lela lue ka uma,
Yeah,
I'm going to
tell
go
the
and
whole
tell the
yeah,
family.
tell everybody.
Because it's that's why they're down there in hiding, and because they know we won't be down there.
Yeah.
But I know as a city ambassador, there are 3 Samoans that are working within
Oh,
this.
nice.
Yeah, one's in the Mission, and one is in
Nice.
D10, and I'm in the Civic Center area.
Oh, they
Nice.
already had the Samoan in D10. That's why you ended
Yeah.
up
No,
in
I
the
was
TL.
like really upset when I was telling Carl and Naki this story. Is like when I got hired, I'm like, I'm gonna work in Viz Valley and D10, in the Bayview, and as they were going out handing out the assignments of where we were permanently gonna be, they kind of saved me for last because
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
they're
so
gonna-
advocate.
They're going to
passionate.
announce who has the TL
Right.
last.
That's probably it, right?
Yeah.
So when he said, Neil, your assignment is Civic Center and the TL, I looked at him like, I'm going to cut you in a minute. I
Mhm.
want to be, I didn't know nothing. All I knew about the TL is what we've experienced or
Right.
the
What
mission,
we
or
hear,
what we
what we
hear,
yeah.
the needles and, the
Mhm.
smell of urine all day. And just, I was like, I know this man is kidding. He knows I come from Viz Valley.
Yeah.
So I went to him after because I knew he knew I was upset. But I just said, you know what? There's a reason. The
Yep.
universe or God.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna stay down here. And I
Mhm.
love it down there because I know I'm gonna run into our people, and I'm gonna know, and I know that I'm helping these people that really have no voice or don't
Right.
want a voice, and they just want to be left alone with their crack cocaine and
Yeah.
and
They just want to
everything
be
else.
left alone.
Right, but you
Right. Yeah.
can't live on the cement, and I'm not looking forward to the rainy season because I
Yeah.
asked some of my coworkers, they go, that's why you got an umbrella. They gave us an umbrella. And I go, wait, what?
Yeah.
So we'll have to be out there in the rain, but I think at least I can go home
Right.
and get in a warm bed.
And get warm. Right.
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 Some of these people are in cardboard boxes,
Yeah.
underneath. It's horrible.
So a lot of people, I hear this a lot of, like, that's just horrible, but they're not doing. They complain about it, but they're
Yeah.
not doing anything about it. And you're actually out there doing something about it and helping people. Does that? It kind of feels like, that there's 2 things I say a lot is God's not going to give me more than I can handle.
Right.
And then things happen for me, not to me. So
Yeah.
now that you're there, now that you're in it and you kind of had your eyes opened, are you happy? Are you glad that this has happened so that you're in this situation? Or how do you see the situation as you're in it right now?
I started to be concerned with my own mental health, right? Because like I said, the first 2 weeks I was out there, I cried a lot because I cannot believe that people are living like that. You see it on movies, you hear
Yeah.
about it, but I'm at home. So I know I need to take time out for Neo
Mhm.
sometimes
Yeah.
and just be in my room and listen to, I know my family hears all my kind of new age music,
Yeah.
whatever it's going to take to really let all that go, because it's really hard. I now know why people drink or do,
Right.
because you got to try to erase that. Sometimes I'll wake up at 2:30, 3 in the morning and think of work. Like, who
Yeah.
does that? Thinking, "Oh, I wonder if these people are warm. Or,
Yeah.
so I have to be taken care of too.
Right.
And I'm so happy that I have friends like Carl and Naki and just friends who check up on me, and make sure I'm okay mentally, because if I'm not okay mentally, I'll just be very bitter out there on the streets.
Right.
My sole purpose is to make sure when I'm interacting with them to know that I truly do care. I may not know you,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't be living like this.
I know.
And it takes, it takes until somebody hits rock bottom before they know they need help. And I'm no angel, in my 20s. Yeah, I did meth, I did weekend meth, drinking,
Yeah.
partying, but I was one of the lucky ones. I grew out of it. You
Right.
come at a certain age, you're like, well, I won't do that shit no more.
Right.
Some people can't get out of it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Some people just got stuck. And let me tell you, the few PIs that I've seen, they're stuck.
Yeah.
They really like that high. They really, and I'm just afraid that I'll be working and I have to call 911 or,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course, Samoans are very good to saying, yeah, but why didn't you tell us? Or why didn't
Yeah.
you, it's not my job to do that. My job is
To
to make,
help.
to help,
Yeah.
and whatever demons that they're working with, I'll go with you on that
Yeah.
path and I'll help you get there. And what, like I said, why I'm really excited is that now we got professionals that I could turn to and say,
Right. Clinicians.
can you come
and
in
yeah.
and just kind of, work your magic culturally?
Right.
Because
Right.
it wouldn't be right for somebody who is not PI to sit there and try to assess what's going on.
Well, they're going to
Yeah.
they're going to be more successful, more efficient at doing it. It's good. It's really good to hear that you're taking care of yourself, because
You've got
if you're
to.
not the best version of yourself when you're in those moments with those people, you're not going to be as of service to them as you could be if you're not your best
Right.
self.
Let me tell you, they come at you with some stuff. I mean, there are like ex-gang members that are
Mhm.
down there, all tatted up. And if your tone of voice is not something that they're appreciative of hearing, I've been called, I've been threatened. I've been called all kinds of names, and you just got to stand there and say, it's not personal.
Right.
It might,
Definitely.
they
Yeah.
might. And
Yeah.
so you just gotta just kind of walk away. But my hood self wants to say,
Yeah.
let
You
me
want to
take my,
answer.
let me take my
I'm
uniform
scared
off.
of the hood cell.
Right.
I'm scared of the hood cell.
But it's also teaching me to be patient. So,
Right.
and if you can ask anybody in my family, I go off in a minute,
Yes, we
like
know.
a firecracker. But this
Mhm.
is teaching me patience as well.
Well,
So
good.
yeah, God does great work, and the universe does great work if you really allow it to happen.
Nice. I love the work that you're doing.
I do too, and I hope more of our people get into that. I know we do a lot of community work for our people.
Mhm.
I see it all the time on
Right.
social media.
Right.
Let's start moving in areas where it's really difficult to have that conversation.
Right.
That's true.
I think everybody has their comfort zone, right? Like, I'll help, but I got to be where
Yeah.
I'm comfortable being.
Right.
And that's the situation that you were put in, is you had to be in a position that you weren't comfortable in,
Exactly.
and
Mhm.
learn how to,
Right.
learn how to deal
Right.
with it, handle it, and adapt.
And I'm just like anybody else. You can do it. If you have
The passion
the
for it,
passion and
empathy. Yeah.
you
It's
know,
you
we were
really have
raised like
to.
that.
Yeah. I think so too. Well,
Yeah.
at least I like to think so, but it's kind of hard when you see our own people homeless out on the street. Then you wonder what's going on now. Like back in the day when our parents first got here, we were all trying to stick together because that's all we knew.
That's all we knew.
Now we're like second, third, fourth generation here, and it's pretty much every man for himself.
No, it's so true. And it's so funny because SCDC had given us some protein bars, but they're the really hard kinds. I forget what they're called, but they're really hard. They're so good,
Yeah.
And we had so much of it that I was giving it out to the homeless. Well,
Nice.
a lot of the homeless don't have teeth.
Right.
So I'm like giving it out, and they look at me and they're like, I have no teeth. And I'm like,
You can gnaw on it
Yeah.
if you're really hungry.
So I don't want them to think like I'm trying to be difficult. Like, well,
Yeah.
this is all I got. So so now I'm getting fig bars and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And like I was telling you, a lot of the homeless people have dogs.
Yeah.
There's a Samoan guy down there who has a pit,
Oh, nice.
who's not very nice.
Ah.
But he has a pit, and I try to engage myself with the pit, but the pit look at me like, yeah, try coming closer. So I started carrying dog biscuits, and I asked the owners, the homeless owners, can I give a dog? And they go, yeah. And and that's how you make a friend with the dogs. Because if you cool with the dog, you're cool with the owner,
Yeah.
right? So there are dogs who now recognize me down there, like, oh, that's that dude who gives out free bones or free
Awesome.
so you got to do what you got to do to be engaged with these individuals.
Yeah.
And what's great, there are agencies down there that provide showers.
Oh, nice.
So if people, I don't go up and say, hey, you need a shower.
Yeah.
You just kind of ask, like, well, what would make you feel good? And we do have services for showers, and we give
That's
them
nice.
that, and they go take a shower. There's hygiene kits for the women. There are a lot of things that are available for our individuals who need it.
Yeah.
It's just having them access it, and we can provide what we call safety checks too, or safety escorts. If somebody says, I don't know where it's at, and we work in teams, we'll walk you there.
Oh, nice.
We'll take you to BART, or we'll take you to Muni. We do City Hall and all the federal buildings. So when employees get off, if some of the employees don't feel
safe,
they'll just say, "Can you walk me?" Yeah.
How many steps a day are you getting?
Oh my God! I transformed them I didn't know you can transform the steps into miles. So 19,000 sounds a lot, but really it's not a lot. I mean, it's
a lot. It's like 7
miles, 7 miles.
That's
a
lot a day.
It is. My feet were,
You find the right shoes? I'm sure you got to fight.
Yeah.
That's equipment, right?
Now you're used to it? Kind of?
Not really. It's so funny because our lead will pair us up with people that they feel, are compatible or can work together. So I work with a woman named Kwan. She's been there 7 years. She's older in age. So I asked my, why am I always with Kwan? And the youngins like, cause y'all old. And I'm like, okay, but our numbers are really good. I mean, she's really trained me very well to look for things. Like we do 311 calls if there's graffiti or if there's human or dog waste on the ground.
Nice.
Because we take pictures of that, send it. I mean, so it's a lot of things that I've learned that can really help clean up the city. And let me tell you, for these ambassadors that have been out there, and there are other agencies, the city looks really nice. I remember back in the day, it was like, I ain't going down there. It looks like, Skid Row, right?
Yeah.
Right.
There are some areas still, but Market Street.
You were saying the alley that we used to park in to go to our first studio.
Yeah.
You said that's cleaned up. I'm going to have to go down there and see because I can't imagine it.
Let me tell you, Carl, I remember when we would go down there, it was like just needles everywhere.
We would literally walk in the street because it was safer to walk in the street, not because of the people, but because of the needles and whatever was on the sidewalk. We'd walk right down the middle of the road.
And thanks to the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, we take a picture of it. It automatically tells you where you're at. Send it to them. They send a crew out. The crew picks up the needles and disposes of it, the way it's supposed to be disposed.
Nice.
And they're all over the city. Same as 311. Take a picture of an encampment that maybe might be a little bit too trashy. They'll come out there. They won't move the encampment, but they'll clean up around them. So it makes for a much
311, huh?
Yeah. And anybody can do that.
We didn't know about 311 when we had the studio down there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Anybody can call 311 and have those things taken care of in your own community. So if you're like, say, in Viz Valley and you see, somebody's tagging a wall or something, you can take a picture of it. It automatically says where this location is at. Send it to 311. You'll get an update if it's been closed or if it still remained open. And there you go. So
awesome.
All of us can do that and take care of our community and our neighborhood. So that's another thing. And of course, if somebody's ODing, we're getting trained to do that, where we use, I can never say the word NorCal or
Norco.
Yeah. To give, we haven't taken the training
yet. Is Norco a drug?
No.
Isn't that a pain medicine?
It's something that you insert into their nose and it can bring them back if they're overdosing.
Oh.
So I get my training in a couple of weeks for that. And then they train us with a CPR training, how to de-escalate things that are happening, because believe me, you have to really de-escalate a lot of things. And I've been called every name in the book. I've been threatened. But you just have to walk away with it and knowing that they really have, issues, and it's nothing personal. They're just venting.
Does it make you more, you talked about it earlier, that that you get to go home to a warm bed. Does it make you more appreciative or more perspective on your own life?
Man, I appreciate so much more after seeing, and it shouldn't be the case, right? You should always be appreciative of everything that you have, right? But this brings it into perspective, like throwing away a half a sandwich. The first thing I think of is a homeless person.
Somebody could eat that.
No, and it's so true. And this is what I love.
Did you ever hear this as kids? And we're all near the same. They're starving people. Like your parents will go, "You need to eat that because they're starving kids in China or something." And they're starving people. There's people that are hungry here.
And I've seen ambassadors who may have had a snack in their bag. And, a homeless person, well, I'm hungry. And they'll look through their bag and they go, well, I ate off this sandwich. Would you like the sandwich? And they're like, yes. You try that at home with somebody and they're like, ew, germs. Yeah. But there are people out there who are constantly either thirsty or hungry. And I'm tired of hearing, well, that's their own fault. They put themselves out there.
Yeah.
I think that's
a little compassion.
That's a defense mechanism that if I can blame it on the person, then I can distance myself from that ever happening to me. Right. So if I can blame it on that whoever that individual is and say, well, they must have messed up or they must have, done something to end up there, then it's like a defense mechanism to, well, then I won't do that. So that can never be me. If you take that out and it's not necessarily that person's direct fault, then all of a sudden you're vulnerable to, oh wait, that could be me. And I think the difference is most of the people that are saying that it's their fault or they choose to be there is in the bounce of that to themselves is, and I would never choose that, or it could never happen to me because I wouldn't do that. And I think that it makes it hard to be compassionate, right? If you're going to take that position of it's just their fault. That's all their own doing.
Here's the thing. We live in San Francisco. We're a paycheck away from that. Some of us are fortunate enough to have, 3 paychecks, right? Some of us are just hanging on. And if you don't have your homeless skills together, you could end up there. And I know some people are thinking, oh, we're Samoan, that would never happen. Well, listen, it's happening. We may be oblivious to it because we don't see it.
Yeah.
But I've seen it.
If you don't see it, you don't know that it's happening.
Right.
But then you don't want to take pictures of these people and post it.
And that's the thing, because I do take pictures, but I make sure I don't capture faces or for my own personal, I'll look at it like, I cannot believe this is, my community, my Samoan, my Pacific Islander, my native community. There's so many people of color that are lost.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason they end up in that situation, we cannot discard them and go on with our lives like it's non-existent.
They don't exist. Yeah.
Speaking of pictures, you had posted one that we were talking about before the show of the Siapo, and talk about how you came across that and what you found.
So we have zones that we go and check on, and to make sure we're providing resources for individuals that are out there. So I'm walking, and y'all know I can't see very well, but from a distance I was like, wow, that looks like a siapo, right? So the closer I got to it, I go, oh my God, that is a siapo. So I started taking pictures, and my partner's like, what is that? And I go, well, it's called tapa or natu or siapo, but it's from the South Pacific, from Tonga, and I don't know whose that is, but it's got all their junk. They just kind of draped it over,
wrapped cart around it,
all their belongings, and homeless people collect a lot of things. But the thing was, when I started taking pictures and I walked up to it, this guy was like, hey. And then he looks at me and he goes, oh, you're indigenous. And I'm thinking, okay, who are you? Because he was uli, so he must have got it from somebody.
Yeah.
But to see that in the midst of an encampment,
like it was in good shape.
It does. But my first thought was, when it starts to rain, it's not going to be as protective as you think, But who would give them the siapo to do that? I mean, I kind of felt offended at first, but then I was like, you know what? It might be a PI. But so there are little indications when I'm down there of seeing things that I guess it's meant for me to see.
Yeah.
Like the siap, like so random in the middle of the TL. Like, who would have thought? So so I took a picture of it. I posted it because this is our reality.
Right.
Yeah, when you posted the picture, I was scrolling through the pictures looking for the Samoan person, for the Polynesian person. I was like, and then it made sense. Of obviously, you're not going to post the face,
Yeah.
but then it ended
Right.
up not being.
No, he was an
mm.
African American guy.
Right.
And when he says, "Oh, you're indigenous," and I was thinking, okay, how did he get that term? Because half of the people when I'm down there, they'll ask me, "Are you Filipino?" I was like, "No, I'm Samoan."
Mm,
Yeah, I very rarely get some, but I'm wearing a mask, so maybe
right.
it's my eyes. I don't know,
Maybe.
but no, I'm Samoan, and they're like, "Oh wow," But I
I think
get Filipino a lot.
you're more likely to be recognized, or at least people will know what Samoan is in
Yeah.
San Francisco, right? Like if you said that in I
Right.
don't know, Little Rock, Arkansas, it might be different.
Right.
But in San Francisco, you're less likely to have to explain what Samoan is.
Well, it's so funny too, because you know how Samoans, when we see each other, we either look away or we look directly at each other.
I don't look away.
I don't look away.
Look away. I go. I look at them and smile, and if
Yeah.
they don't look at me or anything, I still go hi. And then some will stop and say hi or give the international
And then
nod.
most will say, "Do you got to talk to every Polynesian?"
No, but I think we should. I mean,
Yeah.
like when I see one look away, I'm like, they don't want to be recognized.
I don't care. I always go hi.
I do the same
and
thing
then
down
they
there.
just some people will say, "Oh hi,"
Yeah.
and then some will be like, "Bitch."
Yeah. I don't know you.
I don't even know you, but I
But
don't know.
I'm so confident now in my
Mhm.
Samoan. I go, "Oh, malo," and they'll either like look or they'll
Mhm.
just keep walking.
Right.
And it's so funny. So we have this sister who brings sandwiches and stuff to the Civic Center,
Uh-huh.
and she has 2 helpers. Well, one of the helpers says malo, and I look, and he was obviously a black gentleman, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he looks at me, and I know he's thinking, "Oh, this guy is probably wondering, how did I know how to say malo?" So I'm standing there and just kind of looking at him like there's nothing poly about this man. So
Yeah.
how did he know malo? So he goes, "Hey, I've been married to a Samoan woman for 38 years." So my humor, and I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So he laughs and I laugh, and we started our conversation.
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, my sister's brother is," and he mentions a name, "my Uncle Ray."
Oh.
And I go, "Wait, that's my Uncle Ray." And he looks at me and he goes, "Have you been to the house on, where he lived?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I go, "Who's your wife?" And then he mentions his wife. And of course I know his wife,
Yeah,
right? And
of
I'm
course you do.
small world,
Yeah.
right? So he helps to keep the line into people, going. You've heard about Catholic sisters, right? How strict and mean.
Yeah.
It's true. Because I look at her like, damn, can't you smile?
Yeah.
But she's like very like passes the food out. You only get 1 orange. She's just very,
Aw.
but he is just very animated, I guess being around Samoans, right? So yeah. So I
That's
talked
good
to
balance.
him.
That's good.
It is good balance. And then he shares with me, there are a lot of Samoans down here. And I'm like, so I'm noticing. He goes, "Yeah, so what are you going to do about it?" And we started laughing. I go, "What are you going to do?" He goes, "I'm doing." He's helping, every week he's out there volunteering in the food kitchen and passing out food. So there is a need for our people to be volunteering and to doing
Yeah.
things like that. And
Yeah,
we'll
and
see.
to the the grumpy lady, she's there helping. You know what I mean?
But
So she's giving out 1 orange, but she's in
what
in
I'm
the
gonna
TL
do?
helping.
As soon as I start getting, "Sister, why don't you ever
You go
smile?"
win her over.
Yeah, I'm gonna win her over
Yeah.
because she looks at me like, this guy better not be playing around. She looks very serious. Yeah, so they bring out sandwiches, and here's the thing, the homeless people eat very well.
Mm-hmm.
They do eat very well.
Yeah.
down
Well,
there.
food is not with there's no lack of food in
None.
the city. It's just
Even the pantry when we go volunteer, they're organics. I mean, I'm like, can I get a bag to take
I
home?
know their vegetables are better than my house.
Beautiful. I mean, and I like to cook. So
Mhm.
I'm like, damn, look at this stuff. And homeless people, they just take it, they eat it raw or whatever. But there are services that are available for them. We just need to make sure that they see it through, because a lot of times they don't.
Mm.
And that's why, as a community ambassador, we have no issues to walking them to a shelter or referring them to a caseworker, trying to get them to
Yeah.
move to do this, because sometimes it's in one ear and it's out the other because of the drugs that they're using. I've never seen so many pieces of foil down there, and
Mhm.
I'm not keen on, like, what are they doing, and my partner would say, well, see, they use the foil to heat up it's like drug deals 101,
Mm.
and then you're standing there trying to provide services and they're shooting up, and it's like a normal conversation, they're looking for a vein. Yeah, it's an eye opener. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying to our PI community out there, that is doing great work for our people. We do have a need for services for our homeless
Homeless. Yeah.
and mental health issues out there. So
It's good to hear
Yeah.
it from somebody that's
Yeah.
out there in the
Doing the
community,
work.
doing
thanks.
it,
I love
seeing it firsthand, and
Yeah.
having your eyes open, and then saying, hey, to the rest of the community, there's something going on down here that we should be aware of.
And we should snuff it out now. I mean, it's on the early, maybe it's not the early stages. Maybe there have been PIs that have been down there and it was under the radar. Nobody ever knew about it. But now there's so many of us that are working down there, that are down there all the time. And I
Right.
know you see them.
Mhm.
And let's try to make a conscious effort to at least try to do something, because we cannot say we didn't try.
Right.
That's
Right.
the only thing. And it's like with the LGBTQ community when we first started way back in the day, right? Nobody wanted to hear about it, but once we started educating people about it, homes started to become better, acceptance started to become better, people were more comfortable coming out and
Mhm.
speaking about it. So let's move on to this now,
Right.
now that other issues are being taken care of.
Yeah. Awesome. I love the
Yeah.
work you're doing. Thank you.
I do too. I really do.
We
Oh,
need you on more often.
yeah. At
And
least
here,
come one day.
thinking I'm retired, that's not going to happen.
No, you can't sit still.
No,
What
I don't think
You're
any
too
of
busy.
us could. I don't think
You're
any of
busy.
us could.
Well, how was your week?
Yeah.
Let's see. My week. I continue to do the sauna and the float, the zero gravity tank,
Wow.
and so
It shows, sir.
I've really tried to focus on my health, and not from a cancer standpoint, but trying to focus on, like, what do I need to live longer? What do I
Right.
need? And I've always joked, Naki's heard me say this many times, I don't want to beat cancer and lose to diabetes.
Boy.
So I ended up on metformin a while ago, and I just, I figured I got to get my arms around this now. So I did a lot of research, read a lot of books, and landed on fasting, and it has been just life changing for me. I'm off diabetes meds. I'm
Nice.
off of blood pressure meds.
Oh, wow.
My cancer, the kind of a byproduct of that is my PSA's it's lower than it was after chemo.
Wow.
And I have more energy. My thoughts are clearer. It's been a life-changing experience. So this week I did the sauna just once, because I'm down to once a week. It's a really cool experience when the sweat starts to, when I'm in the sauna. You're probably in there like 5 minutes before you start sweating.
You don't get dizzy or
no. So I did when I was on blood pressure meds.
Yeah.
It was like this crazy, like, I don't know, just painful experience going through the sauna and then going into the float. Since I've come off, basically I was on too many medications for my blood pressure, so it was going too low while I was doing that. But when I got off of those, man, it's just it's a really like cleansing feeling experience to go through. So I do a 30-minute sauna, and then I go into a float tank, and I'm there however long it takes me to meditate, pray, get into my own head.
So what when you say float tank, I think of Michael Jackson. That's not the same thing, right?
So it's a tank with about, I don't know, a foot of water in it. It's the water's like 95. It's almost your
so
body
it's comfortable.
temperature.
Oh, so it's
Very
comfortable water.
comfortable.
Okay.
The thought is that they try to get it to where it's near your body temperature, so you can't even feel it.
Wow.
And it's the salt level is really high, so you float, and you float. So I just lay down on my back, and I'm suspended in the water,
Wow.
and so without anything touching me, it's real easy to meditate, to pray,
Oh,
to
that
get
sounds awesome.
my thoughts straight. And I envision things. It's just a spiritual experience. Do a lot of
Wow.
prayer. Sometimes I just want to meditate. I just want to get out of my own head.
Yeah.
I have an hour in there. I rarely take a full hour.
Really?
Usually, as soon as I have the experience, I just get out, take a shower, and go. Sometimes that takes. It's really hard to tell when you're in the tank how long it took. Like when I get out of my head and I'm full, gone, zoned out meditation. I come out. I get in the shower, I get out of the tank, get in the shower, and I come out. Then I have to look at the clock to figure out like how long was I in there.
Right.
And sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 45 minutes to an hour. But as soon as I have that, experience, then I'll cut it.
When you come out, do you take a warm shower? Or is there any requirement like don't shock your body in a cold shower or
no? You just rinsing off the
salt?
The salt, right?
Okay.
You just want to rinse because I do the sauna for 30 minutes, and then I come out of that, and then I go straight into the shower, rinse off the sweat, cool off just a little bit, so it's not like a cold shower, but just enough to bring my temperature down from getting out of the sauna, and then hop into the float tank. So the reason that I started the sauna was, I think I've told this before, but in searching for ways to fix the cancer, I had gotten my blood tested for levels of toxic metals in my body.
Okay.
And I was off the chart toxic level of lead, like crazy levels of lead.
Where did that come from?
So, and I asked the doctor, like, how would I get that much lead in my system? And the only thing I can remember of doing anything with lead was when I was a kid, I was like 12, 13.
That long ago.
Yeah. I would go, I'd go steal the lead off off of tires, the weights off of tires. You can see those.
Yeah.
So I'd melt them down and make sinkers out of them so that I could fish. Right. So
you wanted to kill the fish.
I told and that's not good for the fish either. I told my doctor that, and I said, but I was like 12, 13.
Right.
And he said, absolutely. Once it's in your system, unless you do something purposeful, it's not going to get rid of it. So what he told me to do was go put vegetable oil on your body, go into the sauna and sweat for half an hour. The oil will beat it up when it comes out, then immediately go take a shower and wash it off. And you're going to do that for twice a week for 6 weeks.
I recommend coconut oil, but okay.
Whatever oil is going to beat it up.
Right.
And so it gets beated up, and then you go in, so the float tank's more of a spiritual experience, but and we don't know, we're not positive whether it was the lead or whether it's the fasting.
Well, I'm going to say the lead from 12 years old till now, and it's been in your body.
Yeah. And it's not going to, so I always heard things like the paint chip, the lead in the paint, and all that stuff. Once you get lead in you, you got to find a way to get that out of you. Your body's not going to get that out of you until you do it yourself. So that was a big thing with my PSA turning around. And
are you still on metformin?
Nope. I'm completely off of any diabetes meds and off of blood pressure meds.
Oh my God. I got to try this.
My glucose was under 100 for the first time, and I don't ever remember.
Stop bragging.
I don't ever remember anything. I mean, I remember celebrating 130. I would get to 130 and I'd be like,
I will. Right. I had my A1C checked, I'm thinking, okay, it should be okay. It should be okay. It was like at 10, which is really high. I was like, okay, let's stop playing with your,
Yeah, I dropped my A1C from 9 to 6. It's quick too. The body is amazing. And one of the things that I've, with fasting is, like I said earlier, we're old enough to remember things like If you eat that, it's going to ruin your dinner.
Right.
It's going to spoil your dinner if you eat that. So 30, 40 years ago, if you were to bring a box of donuts into a business meeting in the 70s, people would look at you like, are you out of your mind?
Right.
What are you doing bringing food into a meeting?
Right.
If you were to miss lunch when we were kids, you missed lunch. Like it wasn't the end of the world. Don't eat that. It's going to spoil your dinner. We went periods of time without eating, and we just don't do that now. Like there's snacks everywhere. And the snacks are
unhealthy.
They're unhealthy, and
salty,
they have a ton of processed carbs in
right.
them. So they just make you hungrier. So when I don't eat, I eat once a day. Mainly that's what I do. I go once a day, and every now and then I'll skip and go a little bit longer. But if I don't eat up to dinner, there's points that I'm hungry, but I'm no hungrier than I am if I'm eating every 2 hours. Like it's the same kind of like, oh, this feels weird. After a few days of it, I go 23 hours without even blink. It's the easiest thing that I've ever done for my health.
Well, and you don't feel lethargic or
Mm-mm. So
wow.
So think about this. When we were back in the days where we had to hunt and gather and those kind of things.
Right.
If you didn't eat for a day, you would actually be more energetic and higher in tune because you guys still got to find food. If we were to get tired and lethargic after a day of not eating, we wouldn't have progressed. We wouldn't have survived, really. So you actually are more active and energetic and in tune when you're not eating, when you're in a fasted state. Because think about when you eat like Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
What do you want to do after you eat Thanksgiving dinner?
You're going to go to sleep.
You're going to go to sleep. You're going to sit on the couch, watch football, fall asleep with the TV on. Like you're lethargic after you eat. When you haven't eaten, man, you're like in tune. You're, where's my next meal coming from?
So it's scary to me to think, because I know if I don't eat, then my sugar drops. I started feeling dizzy, but after a while you can maintain that, right? You can also read the signs, eat something maybe to bring it back up.
So if you think of this week, I did two longer fasts this week, but essentially I ate, if I went from Sunday to now, I ate on Wednesday, and then I fasted until Saturday. So I ate 3 times this week. If I ate 2,000 calories in those meals, the one meal, which I didn't, I can't eat 2,000 calories in a sitting. But if you look at the total calorie intake, I would eat 2,000 calories a day, easy, every day. That's 14,000 calories in a week. I probably ate 5,000 calories. That's like a third, right? You're going to lose weight. And also, once you get into that state, your body starts to, so when you eat a snack, if I eat a Snickers bar and then I go exercise, my body's going to use the energy from the Snickers bar.
The sugar.
It's not going to use any of the fat, right? So if I burn off the Snickers bar and I don't put any more food into my body, it's going to start using the fat for energy. So when you don't keep putting food in,
right,
your body uses the fat for energy, and you start to, you'll lose that weight that way. But I drink a ton. I'm like addicted to bubbly water. I drink Pellegrino. I drink any kind of sparkling water.
Right.
Love it. Pinch of sea salt, so a pinch of lime in it.
But doesn't it say that it has a lot of sodium in it, or is that a different type of sodium?
Yeah, just the sparkling water is just 0 calories, 0 nutritional values. Just
that's
hydration.
what we drink at home. Well, I'm guilty. I'll do like half orange juice and I'll pour the rest of the bubbly water just to have that sweetness to it.
Yeah.
But I love bubbly water.
Also, think about if I'm trying to maintain the sugar that I'm putting in my body.
Yeah.
If I'm not putting it in my body, my diabetes is going to come under control, right? So that's how I'm going to level my insulin off, is I'm going to stop putting the sugar in my body. I eat healthier when I eat the once a day. I do eat healthier, but
what about like sugar substitutes like stevia? Like so-called quote unquote natural? No,
I don't do those.
Okay.
I did learn something about, so we always should joke about kalo. right?
Right.
Like that's our indigenous food,
right.
but it's very starchy.
It is.
It's very carby.
It is.
So there's glycemic load and there's glycemic index. Glycemic index is high for kalo. The load is not, so it doesn't turn to sugar really quickly. It's not
so
bad
it's
for
good
us.
for us.
Right. It's not bad for us. In its natural form. But I've been doing a lot of that of like what should my body like for me to put
So
in
you've
my
been
body?
eating a lot of kalo?
A lot of fish, a lot
I
of
love it.
those kind of things, because that's what our bodies are designed to process.
Have you tried the frozen kalo that they sell?
I have.
Have you?
How is it?
How
Love
do you?
it.
So here's the thing.
And do I love it because I crave it, and so it's just a taste of it? But I love it.
So it went from my first bag I bought at $11.
Oh gosh.
Then
yeah.
it went to 18, and I just went to the Samoan store to see if can get $22. I was like, what the?
Where is the Samoan store?
See,
On Geneva? Oh.
I was like, Ifia? And she goes, 22. And I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I don't really eat it that much, but I love it.
I love kalo.
I
I could eat kalo than rice.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
It depends on how you're cooking it, what you're cooking it with. But kalo itself is not. It's not bad. It's the low. It's not a high glycemic load, so it doesn't overflow your system.
Carl has proved. So we're gonna eat kalo. What about if you put coconut milk?
Coconut milk's not bad.
It's not bad either, right?
Yeah.
It's high in fat, but those are
Good
like
fats.
I eat a ton of nuts. I eat avocado.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
eat,
I love
olive
kalo.
oil.
Yeah, I've tried diets. They don't.
No,
work
but
for me.
that makes so much sense.
Oh yeah, kalo. Yeah, I can eat that every day.
Yeah.
So those are.
You can't eat the faspovi though.
I love it when you make it.
The faspovi with fat.
By the way, Naki and I we figured out we're coming down to San Francisco on a Friday a month to
have
hang
some
out with you.
kalo and oh my god. Yeah.
I like it when you make it because it's nice and soft. Not a lot of people cook it right.
Yeah, sometimes
or
it's
maybe I
overcooked,
just
it's
don't
just
like
rubbery.
it the other way. Yeah, but
No, but kalo. Yeah, so I think we shouldn't eat a lot of meat. Too.
yeah,
Meat.
well,
It should be low carb, low protein.
Well,
high
what's low
fat.
carb meat?
Low carb meat.
Yeah, is
Meat's
there?
meat. Like you can eat like
could eat as
salmon,
much as you want,
fish.
right?
Fish is
Yeah.
fish, shellfish. That's good protein.
I love shellfish.
But
Yeah, but Samoans and gout isn't shellfish.
Yeah,
gout? I don't have.
I think
well,
it's
I don't know.
gout.
yeah,
related.
gout comes from it's still a nutritional thing. It's still
Yeah.
a lack of nutrition.
Yeah, gout. Like a lot of PIs have gout,
No,
but different foods trigger it. right?
Yeah,
Like I know beer triggers gout. Some people pork triggers the
Yeah.
gout.
But that's going to be they're not like extremely healthy, right?
Yeah.
So if you're
Right.
healthy, you're not going to be triggered by those things. You're already in an imbalance if you're being triggered by
Yeah.
certain foods. But one thing to remember is in my research to how am I going to lose my weight and how am I going to live healthy,
right.
there's studies out there that the eat less, move more, the restrictive calorie diets, literally 99.3%. So there's a 0.07% success rate for restrictive diet, restrictive calories, where I'm just going to eat less and move more.
Okay.
Because your body's not going to do that.
Well, and I know you've noticed I've lost weight,
You
and
have
I
lost
wasn't even
tons of weight.
trying.
Well, you
but-
do a lot of walking.
So I want to think that I'm doing a lot of walking and I'm not really eating as much, but I think my diabetes too has played a part in losing weight, because I know a
loss.
lot of diabetics all of a sudden they just lose weight, and I don't know if that's an indication of it's getting worse or you're just at that stage of your life where, because I wasn't trying to lose weight, but I also was walking a lot and doing hot Siva, so I don't know if
Yeah.
So I
Do you
need to
change
see
your
my
food
doctor.
at all? Because
not
losing weight
really.
unintentionally is that's a warning sign. Like that's something you gotta be careful with.
Yeah.
But so the
I'd love
walking.
to lose weight unintentionally.
Well,
just come
Yeah.
off, please.
Just get some
come off.
diabetes, you'll be fine.
No, yeah, no, thank you.
So the exercise it's important, but it's not as important as the diet industry would have you exercise industry would have you believe. So a study with people in indigenous Africans in Africa that walk all day, right?
Yes.
Their BMR is the same as an obese person in the United States.
Wow.
Because an obese person, their body's trying harder to burn calories.
Right.
So it actually burns calories
Wow.
at nearly the rate of somebody that's walking all day long. It's what we eat. What we eat is the key to.
Well, I know
losing weight.
processed. I know processed food. Like, I cannot believe the amount of processed food that we can consume.
I can eat it all day.
I know, but I know you're a chip girl.
Yeah, I'm not so much a chip girl
Anymore?
Yeah, but I think I still munch.
Yeah.
And I do eat chips, but not as much as I used to. And I haven't, because remember when we were all on keto?
Right.
I started breaking. I still eat chips, but not as much as before we did keto.
Yeah. I'm not a chip person, but when you have a turkey sandwich, you have to have chips.
You have to have chips.
But you're absolutely right. This process business, we need to really stop with that. Because
two things that people, diabetics and pre-diabetics, should avoid at all costs: high fructose.
Yeah.
So high fructose is
what the fuck?
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's like your weenus, girl.
I know.
High fructose.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Has a ton of bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
So your whole body can process sugar. Only your liver can process fructose. So it's horrible for you. And bleach flour.
And here
bleach
I am
flour.
making breads.
Look at the ingredients. If it's got bleach flour or fructose in it, don't eat it.
I love bread.
You know what? We should all just move to the island, eat bread, fruit, gallo, and fish.
Even
I'm
in the
down.
islands, in the islands, they're friggin' eating McDonald's.
Well, that's the thing.
That's why obesity blows up over there, because they're buying food.
It. Yeah,
when they were growing food,
they're not even walking to the munga to get their
They're
food.
not even growing their own food,
right?
Unless it's growing off of a tree that just happens to be on their property.
Right.
And even that, I mean, I remember I was in Samoa picking the papayas, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm gonna eat this for breakfast." They go, "We feed our pigs papayas. Let's go to McDonald's." And I'm like, "What the frick?"
I love papayas. When I was there in 2013, my cousin Lucy, we would just go outside to the tree
pick it,
and it was huge. We would just pick it.
And how bad were we in 2018? We went and got German buns. And you bought what, like $10 worth, and it was like 3 bags.
No, remember we're like, go in. So the German buns in Samoa, like they sell for $2. You get this
like
huge paper bag. You get like 10 in a bag. And I was like, oh, I'll take $10 worth. And she started giving me like 2-3 bags. I was like, whoa.
Hold up,
just
lady.
give me 2 bags then.
Right.
And it was $4. And I was like, I'm going to gain 20 pounds before we leave.
This is my bag, and this is for Neil and Carl.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, we drove all the way from Tafuna to Whangalii
to get German
We know
buns.
we can get them
And
there.
you guys like were you the one like the jelly ones or the?
I like the jelly ones
Yeah.
and the coconut ones.
No,
We got the
I'm
coconut ones in
yeah.
Samoa, and some of our family member didn't like. I like
that was
jelly
funny.
buns
Literally, we
anytime.
handed a bag of the brown sugar coconut
Right.
ones into the van that had a bunch of our family members in it.
And
And I walked back by after, and they handed me the bag back, and I was like, "What is it?" They're like, "That's not the German
Yeah,
buns.
we don't like
We don't like
those.
those." I was
Yeah.
like, "Dang, give them
but
back."
those are
What?
the original German.
and if your bag is
buns.
not greasy, it's not good.
It's
It's not the
good.
kind.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
So where did we go wrong from
I don't know.
healthy to
I don't
German
know.
buns? And we need to
Oh.
change it. Call it Samoan buns.
Cinnamon buns. Yeah, those are delicious.
So good. And you were asking about mussies this morning.
I know. I love all bangi popo. That's my
Oh my God.
Toke Moana has a good bangi popo. Speaking of Toke Moana, they're open today. So go go there. Go get
I
your
did for
get
the
your
first
grab
time. I
up.
went to
Toke Moana.
Yeah, it was,
They
it
are
was
the
so
best.
good.
They're
It was
so
good.
good. What'd you have?
I had the mamoy and
Oh,
'cause,
you
I
love
like,
mamoe.
oh my God,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
spicy and it was good. And kalo. And, I
Yeah,
had the,
I love
there
kalo.
were some things that were a little bit too salty for me. I was like, whoa.
You have
Well,
the
your
otai.
your tastes have changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't cook with a lot of salt,
Mhm.
or I don't add it. But
Mhm.
when we had it, I was like, I'm gonna get a headache after this. But
I
it's so
love
good.
Toki Moana's food.
Yeah.
Their crack otai. Did you have any mango otai?
So I love.
Oh, it might be too sweet for you.
That's what I'm saying. Because
Yeah.
otai, you shouldn't add sugar to
Yeah.
an already sweetened fruit, right? But I
Mhm.
see not just Tongans but Samoans. They'll mix it and then they'll add like 3 cups of
Oh
sugar
my
and
God.
it's
It's
like
so
or
good.
7-Up, or Sprite, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, y'all
I
don't
don't
add
know.
any of
I
that.
think Toki Moana, just Toki Moana,
Mhm.
they add crack to their mango otai.
Ah, so that's
That's
it.
why.
It's
That's
crack
why.
I'm
otai.
addicted to their
Yeah,
mango
no, I
otai.
can't. Oh, and speaking of food items, so I went to the Sacramento State Fair with Cummings and her
Mhm,
family, and we
mhm.
went. And the first thing I wanted was a corn dog.
Oh, those are
Yeah,
the
aren't
best.
they great?
Was it good?
So I got 4. It was $40. It was
What?
$10 a corn dog.
Did you put 3 back?
No, I was like, wait, what? And she goes, $40.
You should have put 3 back.
Well, I was trying to be
Oh,
nice
and gave everybody one. Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
$10 a corn
That's a
dog?
lot.
Like, what the hell?
Have you ever had a Korean corn dog?
Okay, I know there's a joke behind
No,
that, but
no,
I was
it's
waiting for the
not a joke.
punchline there.
It's a
what's the
Korean corn
difference?
dog.
Uh-huh.
So it's like a mozzarella stick, but it's shaped like a corn dog. It's all cheese, and on the
Oh,
outside, like they have one where you can put fried ramen, potatoes. I have the one with hot Cheetos.
oh, you would.
I know. And then they have, or you can have it with hot
Wait,
dogs. So
do you dip it in anything?
you can dip it in. They have sauces.
Okay.
But I love it's. I get mine at. I go to Vacaville. There's this mochi place that they
Mm.
have. It's so good.
I
but
don't like their fried chicken though.
I don't.
I think they use honey or something after
Oh,
they fry it. It's really kind
oh,
of
I don't
sweet.
know.
It's almost you like Filipino, like they have spaghetti that's really
Oh,
sweet.
I like that. Not
Do
a lot of
you?
people like the sweet
I
spaghetti.
don't.
I like it.
I mean, I add sugar to mine,
Mhm.
brown sugar, but I don't add like 2 cups of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it like makes your false teeth hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me just get the community announcements
Are
out
we doing
because
community
we're running
announcements?
over.
Yeah.
All right. AMU is having their blood drive on October 1st from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 2055 Sunnydale Avenue in San Francisco. If you want to volunteer or help out, contact Christine Mawia at 650-219 or 650-219-1081
There
or
goes the
email
flyer.
jchristine@hotmail.com. Also Ribbon of Hope, which we're going to cover here in a minute, right? We got a
They
flyer.
have the Ribbon of Hope that's starting. That's their support families battling cancer, and they do they have a 50. They ask for 50 cents, like Snacky with
Mhm.
Nacky, and then at the end of I think it's September, whatever they collect, they give to families that are
Oh, that's
battling. It's so awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So all my Usos Ribbon of Hope support families battling cancer. It's their 50-cent drive. And then
Nice.
the flyer is up and we'll repost it. And it's just, you can send to their Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and it's to help families battling
That is
cancer.
I love it.
greatest ribbon.
I love that. And
Yeah.
Cree does a great job
Yes.
of supporting the
community.
community. So there you go. And Samoan Community Development Center invites you to the launch of Kapasa Fetu'u,
Mhm.
a community needs assessment. NH and PI community researchers embarked on a journey to conduct a community-based participatory research project that examined the needs, gaps, trends, and strengths of NHPI youth and young adults in San Francisco. Join to hear the voices that they've gathered from NHPI young people Thursday, September 29th at SCDC,
Oh, it's
6 p.m.
coming up.
Oh, are we going to go? Let's go. It's
Have I been volunteered?
Yes. September 29th is a Thursday, 6 p.m. Oh, I'll be in the city then. 2055 Sunnydale Avenue in San Francisco.
What time?
6
6
p.m.
p.m.
Are you home by then?
I just get off work at that
Yeah,
time.
that's okay. I'll come get you. 6 p.m. We'll be there. And we'll repost the flyer and everything. So there you go.
There you go. Great
Mhm.
job, SCDC.
I know they're really doing a great
Yeah.
job.
I
Can't
this
wait for
easy.
that. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Lots.
Koviki Talk returns tomorrow, Monday, August
Really?
29th at 5 p.m. Pacific time with our
Who
very
dat?
own Neil Veavea and
Who
Linda
dat?
Massoli.
Yay.
Don't miss us right here on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I know. Can you go subscribe? Did you?
I
I'm-
think I did.
I'm
You know,
trying to
I
get
just
people
kind
to
of
subscribe to our
Really?
YouTube channel.
I'll
I don't
share.
know.
I don't know. I'm just social media and I have parted ways for a little bit.
I know, and I totally feel you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been lagging in our. I'm the social media person.
Yeah.
I've been kind of lagging.
Yeah, I've gotten rid of some of my dating apps. You know, I just
You have.
yeah, I'm not down. Ever since being downtown, it's been,
You've been busy.
my priorities have changed.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Anything else coming up this week besides Koviki Talk tomorrow at 5 p.m.?
I'm so looking forward to Go Wiki Talks.
I know. It's been a minute. So this is our comeback show.
Ah.
Yeah. We just
Where'd you
starting
go?
Monday.
Coming back from where?
Being gone.
Mhm.
Oh.
We've been gone. We're back. So there you go.
Oh, my daughter has a beautiful husky mix dog
I
named Luna
seen that.
that is searching for a forever home, and we
I
will
saw
take that
that.
dog wherever she needs to go. So if you're not in the Bay Area, we will bring you the dog. Luna is a beautiful, beautiful dog. You can check her out on our
Absolutely,
Facebook.
Corey. I thought Carl did that on purpose. I was cursing his name.
So if there is that beautiful
Look,
Luna. She's
how old is
pretty.
Luna?
She's mellow. She's like a year and a half, 2 years old.
She's just a
She's just a
baby.
baby.
Has she gotten her
Oh.
shots and stuff?
Gotten her shots.
Ooh.
So 5-5 was just supposed to be dog sitting, and the person that had the dog no longer wants the dog, so Malia's stuck with Luna. She can't have a dog in her apartment, and so we were on the phone with her, sobbing, crying on Friday night, because she may get put down. So then, of course, the next day it's all over my social media of like, my daughter's crying, so I'm gonna have to find some way to
So when
solve
I
that
saw
for her.
that, Mr. Johnson, I thought he's doing this on purpose. He knows
No,
I
not
love
the
and miss my dog.
I know.
And when that line, it might get put down, I was like, no, I can't. I mean, I do. I really, really want a dog. But now that I'm working full time,
Right, you're not home all day.
and then of course I want to travel, but I want a dog still.
Is Luna potty trained?
Luna's potty trained.
Oh God.
That means if I start at 9, I'd have to wake up like at 4 to walk Luna, come home, make sure Luna's okay, then go to work. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want.
That's why we
Luna to
have
get
Neil
laid
on
down.
today.
I didn't think.
But
Luna
your
was
baby
gonna get
needs
laid.
a friend.
But Sunga is such a jealous dog.
Is she?
Yeah, she's
Well,
very.
I
what
wonder
is it?
why.
Territorial.
Yes, Sunga.
Yeah. Because when my grand fur baby comes over, like Sunga won't let Georgia do anything. Like Sunga has these treats in the house that if
Right.
I try to feed her, she don't want it. She's snooty booty.
Okay.
She'll want it like the
She
first day.
bougie.
Yes, she's bougie. So, but the second day she don't want it. But when Georgia comes over, I
She
go, oh,
eats it up.
she tries to stop Georgia from eating the snack. So now if I give it to you the second day and you don't want it, you don't get shit till
Okay.
Georgia comes.
Okay.
And so when Georgia
Good
comes,
mama.
Georgia comes and eats all the snacks.
What about the pit? Was it? No, that's somebody else. Sorry.
No, that's my
Jack.
nephew dog. That's
Oh,
Jack.
Jack, yeah.
He's getting so old.
So how
Oh.
are there possibility people are going to want
any
Luna?
offers
Any
that people want
offers?
Luna?
There are people. My cousin actually commented. I got to give her a call. She
Oh,
lives in
good.
Seattle. She's like, Seattle. I was like, yeah, we'll drive the dog. We'll take the dog to Seattle.
my
Fly the
God.
dog.
Oh my
God,
God!
wherever
Look
the
at you.
dog's
You guys are
gotta
good
Okay.
people.
You're
I'm like, come get
you
the
better
dog.
come get
like,
the dog.
I'm at Bay Area. I'll bring it to you.
Okay.
But Seattle, you come
no,
get it.
you come get this dog.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Find
It's
a
so
reason
cute. What
to.
kind of dog
We'll
is it?
talk.
She's a
Yeah.
husky mix.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
cute.
I think
No, what you looking at me for?
because they
my
need a
dog is
friend.
like my dog is so spoiled.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, I know.
Luna, and that's such a perfect name.
So cute. I would
She's-
change the name.
You would? To what?
She's only a year. I would change the name.
She's gonna be
I
so
would
Shit.
confused.
When we
Be to
got
that name.
Sunga, her name was something else, and then we just started calling her.
Sunga.
We changed her name to Sunga, and now she's Sunga.
Why don't you like Luna? Well, because I know a song, Luna.
I don't
but-
know. I would change it to a Samoan name to fit
Really?
Sunga. Yeah,
Oh.
Mm.
Fia poco. So
Yeah.
fia poco.
yeah. I don't know.
Okay,
I've-
Carl. We'll yeah. Good luck.
I know. My
Oh my
kids have been like,
God.
"Mom, we can get another dog." I was
Right?
like,
She's
y'all don't even take care of the
gorgeous.
one we have. I mean, we do because she's spoiled rotten.
Well, you have a house full.
Yeah, but
I have a house full too, but they're all like, there's only Dawn in my house. He goes, yeah, we should get a dog.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. But then,
Yeah, Sunga doesn't bark, doesn't chew up nothing.
Really?
Yeah, no, she's
Oh
just
my
chill.
God.
bougie.
She's
Yeah,
such
she's
a good dog.
bougie.
She doesn't
She's
bark.
bougie.
She's not aggressive. She doesn't dig. She doesn't
Yeah.
Wow.
like none of
Nothing.
that.
Does it know it's a dog?
I don't think so anymore. I think Sunga thinks she's a real
Because
girl.
Luna is gorgeous. I
Mm.
saw
she's-
that.
She
and I
is.
was-
is beautiful.
And that look, that face.
Yeah,
Oh my
Sunga,
God.
no, Sunga's too jealous.
So Sunga does this thing where when she's outside, she'll go to the door, and if you don't open the door, she'll jump up and down, and
That's so cute.
she wants
Like
to get your
open.
attention.
Carl. So
Okay.
Carl watched her one day, or when we were out of town.
I saw that.
And then he let her go outside and close the door. And when she's ready to come in, if you're not paying attention to open the door, she'll start jumping up and down like,
Oh my
"Hey,
God.
over here,
I'm
look
here."
at me!" And Carl's like, "What is this shit here?" I was like,
Why is she
I'm like,
jumping?
"You left her outside too long."
I go, what is this behavior?
Oh my God.
So the second time that
That's so
I house
cute.
sat for, I've dog sat. I had gone upstairs while she was outside, and then I came down and she was jumping up and down. I was like, "You're gonna sit down before I let you back in." So she jumped for like, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And she finally sat down. So the minute she sat down, I went to open the door and let her in.
Yeah.
She goes in and sits and faces the door, not the couch that I'm sitting in. She's facing away from me, facing the
She
door.
wouldn't
There's
talk to
nothing over
him
there.
for like
And
20
I was like,
minutes.
Sunga. And she wouldn't even turn around.
Yeah.
They
She
know,
was
Carl.
pissed off
She
at
was
me.
pissed. like Leah and Ty babysat her when we were, I forget where we were at. We were in Las Vegas.
Right.
And Leah sends me video of, she's driving around and Sunga's in the passenger seat with her. And then she's in bed and they're like, no dogs in our room. And that's it.
Right.
And Sunga jumps on top of their bed. She sends me the video and she's like, no, Sunga, no, Sunga, no. And Sunga looks at her dead in the face and then turns around and lays down on the feet of their bed.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. My
Oh,
dog is
that's
so bougie.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. So yeah, Leah and Ty. And then after that, Leah and Ty were like, we want her.
See, now maybe Leah and Ty can
Leah and
take
Ty,
Luna.
yes.
That's good.
Leah, look at Luna on the screen. They're on right now. I think they're
Ah.
checking in from Fiji. I'm not sure, but
Leah,
Ty,
you
look at
need
the dog.
Luna. Oh, look
Mhm.
at how
well,
gorgeous
she has
that
cats.
dog-
She's a
She's
cat
so
mama.
pretty.
She's a cat mama.
Yeah,
so
I don't like cats.
well, there you go.
There you go. But
There
we
you
love
go.
Luna.
Oh yeah, we love Luna. So Pete Masoli is on. Good morning, Robert
Good morning,
Arman.
Pete.
Good morning, Robert. Dita. Good morning, Jitin Prasad. Ty Leah. No, we just got back. She just got back from Fiji. Corinne.
Bula.
Yes. Via Ui Turi. Good morning,
Chai
Fatima.
Fa'aleava, I can barely handle these cats.
Right. I know. That's
Aw.
why I was like, oh, I forgot they got cats. So
Yeah,
no dogs.
cats are not-
yeah.
My mom loved cats.
I know.
And when she passed, I gave them all away to the SPCA.
Oh wow.
Well, because Yvette and them were moving in with their pet, and
Oh.
the pet didn't like cats.
Oh, yeah. So there you go. Leah and Ty Faleava, we just came back from Fiji, which we were supposed to go and couldn't go because of health reasons. And then we have Snacky with Nacky. That's
Mm.
I keep saying I'm gonna go. Like I have a problem of going to go eat somewhere.
Really?
Yeah. I mean that's not my problem. I just forget to bring my tips. So I swear this week. Good morning, Pete. Pete Masoli is on. So yeah, I think that's any announcements, any shout outs before we let you go?
No, It's just great to see you
It's
both
good
in
to see you.
person.
I love having you
I
on.
love being here.
At least come
I
on.
think
as
it
soon
went
as
by
you-
really fast.
It went by really fast. We're actually over the hour mark. We
Oh,
just
wow.
keep talking.
Okay, let's shut up and.
No, we're good. Actually, I'm kind of hungry, so let's order.
Are you?
Let's
Oh,
order processed food.
jelly donuts. No.
Yeah, so there you go. Tomorrow, Koviki Talk is on at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Is that how you, or is it California time?
Standard time.
Pacific
Standard
Daylight time in November.
Yeah.
Hey, is that still going to be around? I heard that they don't want the.
They're
What is it
thinking
called?
of getting
rid of it.
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
going to vote on it. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, let's get rid of it.
I don't know. But
I'm
we're on
with you.
Koviki Talk. Okay, pay it.
Okay.
Focus.
Focus.
Koviki Talk is on tomorrow at 5 p.m. We are on Island City TV every Wednesday. Download the Dash Radio app. Search Island City, which, by the way, they are in LA this week for the LA
Nice.
Rugby Sevens. Go check them out. Yeah, so that's all we got going on. So, come back to FICA with us.
Love y'all.
Mm.
Did you just grab?